Hello, EveryStem members. Luann here. I am so excited about bringing this new update to you. It is Two Markups in EveryStem, and this is going to be able to help you all so much. I know that I mark up my flowers a certain markup, and then I mark up my hard goods and supplies another markup. So this is the way you're going to be able to do that, and I am going to show you a little bit about how it works. The first thing we're going to do is go into the Profile tab, and you're going to see that in your profile now you have a primary markup and a secondary markup. This is awesome because when you click on Edit Profile, you can adjust your markup. And now every event that you create in EveryStem is going to have this markup. So if your primary markup is 5, your secondary markup is 1 because you just want to charge the cost of the rentals or whatever, that's fine. If it's 2 or 2.5, whatever your secondary markup is, you're going to put it in there and then you're going to click Submit. Now, those markups are going to show up on every new event you create. So let's jump over to the dashboard. When I create a new event, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of information in here, and I'm going to click Submit so we can create a new event. Now, when I open up the event details, you can see that I have my primary markup is 5 and my secondary markup is 2.5. So this is awesome. You can change it inside an event here as well. So if you don't want this particular event to have a 5 times markup, if you want this one to have a 4 times markup, and your your secondary markup to be a 2 times markup, you can do that too. So whatever works for you, you can do it in the event, or you can set it in your profile. Once you have it set, you can go ahead and create new items, or you can edit your items. So in the Create Item modal, used to be called Create Flower. Now we're calling it Create Item because you can add rentals, hard goods, other items that you're going to use to build out your recipes other than just flowers. So it's the same modal, looks the same, works the same, except for you're going to be able to see right here that you're going to be able to choose your markup. So if this was a hard good, I label all my hard goods with HG at the front. Let's say this is a 10, let's say this is a silver compote, 10-inch. And it's a supply item that I have in my storage unit, so I'm just going to put it under the vendor name supplies, so that way all my supplies show up on one list under that vendor name. The price is what I pay for it, my wholesale price. So this is going to be marked up by my secondary markup. So if I put $5 in here, the system is going to charge at retail value $10. So I'm going to go ahead and put a $5 price. And then I'm going to switch my markup from primary to secondary. So if you just want to use the primary markup and you only want to do flowers in here, that's fine. Just let it be primary and leave it at the default. If you want to add hard goods or you want to change your flowers to have different markups, some for the primary markup, some for the secondary markup, this is where you would change it in the item. We're going to just say, even for hard goods, it's one stem. There's a little flower, verbiage there, but just assume it's a stem, one item, one per pack. We're going to go ahead and click Save to Library. This is the button you want to click when you want to save an item that you're going to use again in the future. We're going to click that. If you have any questions about Save to Library versus Save to Event, you can look at this button later. The little blurb tells you the difference, but we're always going to click Save to Library. And then let's say you have an item that you need to change. So let's add some items here. Let's add some flowers. We'll do some pink flowers. Say we're going to add our ranunculus and some rice flower and some greenery. I know a few of you do charge a different amount for your greenery. I don't do that, but if that's something that you do, you can go ahead and come in here and you can make your greenery the secondary markup. Just by changing that. Everything else stays the same. Click Submit, and now that item is going to be marked up with the secondary markup. If you're not sure which markup your item has, then we're going to go ahead and take a look down this list, and you're going to see if it's marked green with the white check, that means that item is going to use the secondary markup. If it is blank, if it's clear or doesn't have anything filled in, then that means it is the primary markup. So if you need to switch an item, if you created some hard goods in your system that you have in there as a primary markup, I've changed most of mine already, as you can see here. But if it did say primary markup, you could just go in, edit the item. I would add it first. Then I would go over, click on the item, and then I could change my markup. Now remember, when you change something just in an event, it only changes in that event. So if you have to, you can go into your library. You can find all your hard goods. You can search through them. If you have them labeled, like I do with HG at the front, it would be easy. You can see I've already changed most of mine. But if I had one that was a primary markup, let's do something like that silver compote in the 6-inch size. And I'm going to name it supplies. And I'm going to put it at my $4 price. Now I'm going to leave it at primary just for now. A lot of you even have it with 0 as the price for right now that's in the system. If you've already been using EveryStem, you might have it set this way with a 0 price so that you could just count how many of these things you need. You can go ahead and then search for those items in your system. And when you find the one that you want to change, this one's primary, I can go ahead and click edit. I can come in here and put my wholesale price, the price that I want to be marked up by this 2 times markup that I'm using as my secondary markup. I'm going to say it's $4. So every time I rent this to a client, I'm going to rent it for an $8 retail price. And then I'm going to go ahead and change my markup to secondary. And then I click submit, and now you'll see they all have the secondary markup. Then when you enter these into an event, and you start working with them, let's go over to this wedding that I already have created. Let's go over to the ceremony. We're going to take a look at the arch. I've got my arch in here. So I did a deconstructed arch. It comes in 2 pieces. I rent it from Mancino Iron here in Austin, and he charges me $100. So I charge my client $200 so that I have to go pick it up. I have to return it. I have to deal with it. I have to charge a markup on this. Even if I'm renting it from somebody else, I still have to do some work involved. So I want to make sure that I'm charging a markup to cover all that work that I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then I'll scroll down and you'll see that that is included in my cost as a recipe item. But I also still have some supplies at retail value because I need, as you can see down here in my notes section, a little bit of chicken wire filled with moss to decorate this arch. So I'm going to put my $80 supplies at retail value, and it's going to be $40 at cost for my moss and my chicken wire. And I'm going to go ahead and note so that myself or a team member or a freelancer can come in when I'm gathering and prepping and packing all my supplies, and they know that this $80 allocates my 3 6-foot chicken wire logs filled with wet moss. So you can use items and supplies at retail value line together. So if you have items that, like moss, chicken wire, tape, ribbon, things like that, you might not necessarily want to create items for those things. Let's look at the bouquet here, for example. So for the bouquet, I've got $10 worth of supplies at retail value because my bouquet needs ribbon, tape, and rubber bands. I'm not going to go into my create item and create an item for a rubber band or for some tape. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I'm allocating the cost of those things in my supplies at retail value line so that I can then make sure that I am not going over my budget because I'm not allocating money for those things. So when I go ahead and create a new item, for example, with these 2 bouquets, I put my $400 that I'm charging for 2 bouquets. They're $200 each. I like to put that in the header of the column. So each bouquet is $200. I put my quantity 2 at the top. I put that I'm charging $400 for both at the bottom in the quoted price line. And then I put my $20 for supplies at retail value in there. I do those things first. The price of both bouquets that I'm charging the client is my quoted price. I put my amount for my supplies at retail value for both bouquets, and then I put the 2 up at the top, and then I can just do the recipe down the side, and it will calculate my numbers for me. So this is going to include the primary markup on the items that you're using the primary markup for in your numbers, and it's going to also use the secondary markup on the flowers that you're marking up 2 times. We've double-checked the math. We have triple-checked the math. We have tested this thoroughly, and we want it to work well for you. So if you have any questions or you come across any issues as you use the system, please reach out and let us know. We do not want you to struggle, and we do not want you to have any issues with the software. So reach out. If you have any questions, please email me, and we can set up a quick time to talk and make sure that you're getting the most out of this system. We have designers that are achieving regularly 70% profit margins on all of their orders. And we have really great members like Ashley Fox, who just told me that 2021 was her most profitable year ever of her 14 years in business because she is using EveryStem for every order. And it is making everyone's job easier who is using it. Several of our members have said that their time for creating proposals has gone from hours, plural, down to less than an hour. And I want you to have that as well. I want you to start spending less time creating orders and pricing your flowers and spending more time with your families and your friends and doing things you love. And join us on Tuesday, April 19th for our very first EveryStem members meetup via Zoom. It's going to be April 19th at noon. So please join us. If you don't know where to join, just send me an email.